Hello everyone, this is Menz here. I'm going to be playing the Tier 6 German Premium Tank Destroyer, the Dicker Max, here on Carlisle Assault Defense. Now, this match ends up being an Ace Tanker match. I do a little over 2,300 damage. All of it over 300 meters, which is basically a sweet spot for the Dicker Max. You don't want to be seen in this thing. Doesn't have a lot of armor, but it does have a very good gun and also very good gun depression. But it does, it lacks armor and also a little bit of mobility. Now, looking at this match, I'm tier 6, tier 8 match. It's going to be, a little bit of a challenge if, they start pushing on us and we're not able to kind of keep them off of, basically where I'm sitting in the back. Typically, I don't sit in the back, but the Dicker Max, you kind of have to. You always have to keep enemies, either near maximum spotting distance, which I equip optics on this just so I get a little bit more view range, and even a little bit further. Like the sweet spot is where they have no chance of spotting you in this area here. Now, something to keep note of, this match I actually fired 20 rounds, which is starting to get down to kind of the end of the amount of rounds that the Dicker Max has. Like, it only has 26 rounds, so I only had 6 shots left. And granted, this is a match where it's kind of long and drawn out. It's something to keep note of, because you can run out of rounds if you're not careful in this thing, or get very close to running out. I do carry 2 HE though, just in case I'm against a couple tier 8s where I need to chuck HE at them if I don't have a chance to be able to pen them with APCR. Since, well, 227 is great, there are a few tanks where if they just have like their turrets out, you're not really going to have a good chance of penning them with APCR, so I carry a couple HE for that. Now, looking at, I'm defending here, tier 6 in a tier 8 match. Pretty much the best spots would either be, far up in D1 to where they can't spot you from the J1 area, or where I'm going over here, which has typically more consistent shots over in A4, A5. That way I can use my gun depression, but mainly stay out of the view range that enemies will be, set up here on the hill in the corner. Now, as far as the enemy team is concerned, typically heavier tanks find their way over to this section. So I'm not too concerned about, running into a lot of their TDs or the top medium. However, the AT-15 does make his way over here, surprisingly, and he sets up in a little bit more towards the center, which, is a little bit, different than what you're used to seeing. Because typically TDs, they camp back here, and regardless of how their tank is, it's kind of funny just to see them sit back there. Anyway, though, this AT-15 gets spotted, but, unfortunately I'm a little bit too far back, and the gun elevation on this isn't the best. I am careful to not get myself too close up. Like, it was tempting to move up a little bit further for the AT-15, but I'm not going to pull myself into potentially getting spotted here, just to get one shot off. Our E25 pushes up for some reason in an E25, and fortunately for me, he spots these guys, and I'm able to just sit back here and kind of, chew away at them. Unfortunately for our E25, though, he's easily going to get killed here. I don't know why you would push up an E25, but alas, he did. The only difference between him and me, somewhat speaking, is, he has a lot more mobility. And I definitely wouldn't push up even if this thing was mobile. So at this point, it's, do I want to shoot the AT-15? I start, giving him a little bit of attention, but even with APCR, I won't be able to deal with him. So I'm going to basically help the ARL-44 here, which, unfortunately, he's already lost a lot of HP. My main goal is do not let enemies get close enough to be able to, spot me. I swap over to an HE, which, like, I do hit the IS there. I thought, that HE I swapped over to, I thought he was going to pull back, and I was trying just to barely hit his track wheel, hopefully to track him. but I didn't want to waste. I already wasted a lot of APCR where I didn't need to, but I felt like it was important trying to get, a big chunk of damage off here, because we really only had an ARL here, and then we have an Oni slightly behind. However, if they pushed any further up on this Oni, we'd be in a little bit of trouble, because that's within my view range, which this Oni, for some reason, decides to push through there. I look off of him because I had an AP round loaded, and fortunately they kill him. But I'm also not spotted just because of the Oni's view range, and also Dicker Max is pretty good camouflage. Now the E25, I was keeping an eye on him, him being spotted, but fortunately they can't spot you with these rocks in your way. Now at this point I have 1300 damage. I still have 13 shells left, but I don't have any APCR, don't have any HE. Now, at this point, I'm still aiming up here, but this E25, he's starting to push up, which I was a little bit surprised he didn't get, instantly vaporized, but, that definitely fixes itself very soon. But at this point, we're up quite a few tanks, but it's still... it's anybody's game. We only have an Oni up here still, which he does have full HP, fortunately, and this AT-15 still hasn't moved for whatever reason. But considering they kind of backed off, I'm able to push up a little bit further now, and fortunately for me, this IS-3, he was trying to do the same thing with vision, staying outside of that Oni spotting and being able to shoot into us. But unfortunately for him, he's still a little bit too close, and it didn't work out for him. But really, this is a very good spot for a Dicker Max if your team is set up to kind of protect you. Even being bottom tier, you're best to find spots where you can kind of hide like this. And fortunately for me, I've played, quite a few British tank destroyers, and I knew firing there, the AT-15 was not going to have the V range to spot me, but if that was a medium tank, definitely would have been a little bit iffy there, or even a heavy tank, especially since a lot of people, use coated optics. But at this range, I'm down to 10 shells, and I'm like, shit, there's an AT-15 here, really the only tank I'm able to shoot, and I'm down to 10 rounds. But fortunately, we start kind of focusing on him a little bit. He turns to his side to me, and I'm able to whack him there. And at that point, can kind of write him off, only 11 HP left. But a little bit too late for this easy 8 to push out and help. But overall, this is an ace tanker match. I'm going to do basically one more shot's worth of damage here. But, possibly two, actually, looking at it now. But essentially, the Dicker Max is really good when you have teams where you're able to set up behind, support them, kind of move up, kind of push and pull behind them to keep people, within the sweet spot, basically the outer two squares of your render range. When you're pushed on or you're spotted, then pretty much every single shot you take is gonna basically be a damaging shot. If you get hit by arty, you can get one shot at by virtually every arty that faces you, which I thought I got more damage off here, but I honestly don't think I do, because I blind fired a couple shots that pushed me up just a little bit more, a little bit under 75 damage or so. But anyway, the end battle screens here. We got an Ace Tanker award. This was a pretty easy one, honestly, but if you're playing in a match where your team is starting to falter, it can be very hard to work around the Dicker Max's limitations. But if you can kind of exploit the view range that or the spotting system, I should say, then it could be a very deadly premium tank to use. But overall, Ace Tanker award. I did the second most amount of damage on my team, which is no small feat considering I'm just a tier 6 tank in a tier 8 match, and almost out damaged even the AMX 50 100. And finally getting to the end here, I did use some premium rounds, so it did kind of hurt the net profit. But overall, even without a personal reserve bonus, I had one going here. I'm trying to grind credits. I have so many tanks to get. Still made 47,000 credits, even considering the amount of APCR I used. But I shot 20 times, I hit 15, and I penetrated 10. So not the best numbers there, but a lot of those bounces came off of the AT-15. And I even assisted with 696. It's like what I was trying with HE, or, if you have a tank where you're not able to pen it, aim for the track wheel, the frontal track wheel on a tank, or even the rear potentially. If you track enemies, any damage that's done thereafter till it's fixed, you get credited for it, for assist damage. So just even if you're not spotting at long range in a TD and someone else is, sometimes taking a shot for the track wheel and then focusing on damage can actually help you a little bit. It feels like cheating almost at times, but because it kind of pads your assist damage, but it can rack up there, especially if you're trying to, say, ace a tank or get like medal of excellence or marks of excellence, not medals. But anyway, thanks again for watching this. Hopefully you enjoyed this battle. Hopefully every Dicker Max battle that you play ends up being like this, because this was, pretty nice to be able to set up here and just kind of push and pull a little bit and get easy damage off. So again, thanks for watching. Feel free to check out my live stream here on YouTube. I stream a few times a week here. You can find a link to one of them in the the end of this video here. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Keep up to date with all my new videos and also my live streams. Otherwise, hopefully you have a good day, and I'll see you around sometime soon.